everybody? My name's Extendo. I'm a producer and mixer from Los Angeles and Houston. I'm going to start doing some mix breakdown videos to show my process on songs I worked on, whether it's in production, recording, mixing, or mastering. Just a disclaimer, I'm not here to tell you what is right or wrong, or how you should or shouldn't be mixing. I know there's a lot of bad information for audio engineering on YouTube, and I'm just trying to show my process on the stuff I've worked on, and maybe it can be helpful to some people. The first song I'm going to be doing today is Whatx2 by AZ Chike, so let's get into it.
Yeah, I don't trust niggas, but as far as I can throw 'em. Point a nigga out, told Brody get the bloom. Call the ism up, he bring the hoes and start snoring. She like you one of them ones. I'm like, I'm already knowing, nigga. What, nigga, what?
Baby,
Hold on,
give me some cash.
let me talk my shit, nigga.
Alright, so just a little bit about this song. We recorded it in 2024 at Basswood Studios in North Hollywood. The vocal chain was a U87 into a 1073 into a CL1B, which is pretty standard. Recording Chike's vocal, I don't like to use compression at all or very minimally because I find it brings out his sibilance and harshness a lot, and I just have to compensate for that later in the mix, so I just try to avoid it in the first place. We recorded a few different versions of this song initially over a few days, and even though it was the same mic in the same room, there was little discrepancies in the vocal, so you're going to notice I had to adjust for that throughout the mix to make them match better. But yeah, and there's a lot of effects going on, a lot of reverses, a lot of delay and reverb throws, and like flanging effects, so I'll make sure to get into all of that. Alright, so starting with the beat, I was only given the 2-track to work with on this song. Luckily it was mixed pretty well, so I really didn't have to do much to it. I also don't really throw fit. If I can't get the beat stems, I just work with what I got. I did add a lot of drops in this song. I do like to emphasize and accent lines in a song to make it more fun for the listener and stuff, so it's just not the same thing you've heard a million times in rap music. So I did add a lot of like verified drops and reverses and stuff like that. I'll give you an example. Stuff like that. Yes, just making it more fun to listen to and stuff like that. I did add a little bit of EQ just to help the vocals sit in the beat a little better. It's barely a dB, but I'm adding some top end. I'm getting rid of some low mids and some mids right here just to help the vocals sit.
Yeah, I can't trust a bitch, it just is what it is. Point a nigga out, told Brody handle biz. If you ain't do it with me, don't speak on what I did. Little bitch that she hungry.
Yeah. And then moving on to the vocal. Editing wise, I usually do a lot more clip gaining now. I didn't really do a lot at this point, but you can see I do remove breaths and stuff. Chike tends to he'll record a vocal all the way through, so you kind of have to clip gain a lot of stuff just to make it sound more like smoother. So I do automate breaths down, and then some super loud sibilant stuff I do pull down as well. And then moving on to the treatment of the vocals, I'll start with everything off just to show. Starting with the first part, I'll show you this. This is the difference in the EQs of like the verse vocal and the hook vocal since we recorded them on different days. So you can see on one I'm boosting some high end, and on this one I'm shelving off some high end just to make them match a little better. For whatever reason, one day it was brighter and one day it was darker, so I don't know, I just had to work with it.
Yeah, I don't trust niggas, but as far as I can throw 'em. Point a nigga out, told Brody get the bloom. Point a nigga out, told Brody handle biz.
Yeah, so I have RVox on all the vocals just to do gating. There's no compression right here, just to clean up room noise and stuff like that. And then I do have a de-esser on this vocal that was brighter, just to control some of the sibilance.
On what I did, little bitch that she hungry will come on, eat these kids. I don't take the tag, I'ma buy it if I...
Barely doing anything at all, really. Moving on from that, I have two lead vocal buses, and you're probably looking at this shit like, why do you have so many goddamn plugins? they're all doing little amounts of stuff. Like all these EQs you see are just doing like a dB of just little notches just to sculpt the vocal to get like a big sum at the end that I think sounds good. And if you just took this same vocal chain and put it on your shit, it's not going to sound good. So for the love of God, don't try it. It doesn't work like that. Every single song I do, I have a completely different vocal chain, and unless you have the same exact voice of Chike, it's not going to sound good. So I start off with the EQ here. I'm just removing some rumble, and then there's all these points just to get rid of harshness and stuff like that.
What I did, little bitch that she hungry. Come on, eat these kids. On to the tag. I'ma buy it if I like it. Dig a bitch down. Move your hands, bitch. Don't fight.
You can see it's like a dB at most 2, almost 2. I then go to some multi-band compression. I don't like to cut the low end out of vocals a lot. I like to have a vocal be full and forward and have like body to it. So I'd rather control the low mids of a vocal than just fucking take it out. So I have this multi-band just on the low mids, like 500 to like 100, and Chike has a very low vocal register, so this helps a lot.
On what I did, little bitch that she hungry. Come on, eat these kids. On to the tag. I'ma buy it if I like it. Dig a bitch down. Move your hands, bitch. Don't fight it. Diamonds hitting home.
And then after that, I go on to proceed. I have it set to opto, very low ratio, so it's not doing a lot of compression really. I have a fast attack, and then I have auto release. I don't really know why I initially picked auto release. I think it just worked for this song. And then proceed has a really weird auto gain. It adds way too much auto gain, so I have this pulled down a bit just to compensate for that.
On what I did, little bitch that she hungry. Come on, eat these kids. On to the tag. I'ma buy it if I like it. Dig a bitch down. Move your hands, bitch. Don't fight. Diamonds hitting hard. Yeah, striking like they lightning on my neck.
So yeah, just a little bit of compression on that. I then have it going into LA2A. This adds a little body, and then this is barely tapping it as well.
On what I did, little bitch that she hungry. Come on, eat these kids. On to the tag. I'ma buy it if I like it.
So like a dB of that. Then I have this Equator plugin on. This is basically Soothe. It's like Wave's version of Soothe, kind of.
On what I did, little bitch that she hungry. Come on, eat these kids. On to the tag. I'ma buy it if I like it.
And that's just doing some low mid, like resonance stuff. Then another EQ, set the natural phase, some shelving, and then just other notch points. Again, just like 3 dB at most.
On what I did, little bitch that she hungry. Come on, eat these kids. On to the tag. I'ma buy it if I like it. Dig a bitch down. Move your hands, bitch. Don't fight. Diamonds hitting hard. Yeah, strike.
After that, I have RVox, a little bit of compression.
On what I did, little bitch that she hungry. Come on, eat these kids.
After that, I have a de-esser. Here's a frequency point, split.
On what I did, little bitch that she hungry. Come on, eat these kids. On to the tag. I'ma buy it if I like.
I tend to do a lot more de-essing manually with clip gain nowadays, but this works as well. And then this is kind of like the main compressor, I guess you could say, that's doing a lot of work. This is like a distressor style compressor. I have 4-to-1, fast attack, fast release, and then yeah, so I'll play that.
On what I did, little bitch that she hungry. Come on, eat these kids. On to the tag. I'ma buy it if I like it. Dig a bitch down. Move your hands, bitch. Don't fight.
3 dB of that. After that, I go into lo-fi, just a distortion.
On what I did, little bitch that she hungry. Come on, eat these kids. On to the tag. I'ma buy.
And then once you add a lot of compression and stuff like that, you can it brings up the low mids a bit. So I use this another multi-band compressor to control the low mids more.
On what I did, little bitch that she hungry. Come on, eat these kids. On to the tag. I'ma buy it if I like it. Dig a bitch down. Move your hands, bitch. Don't.
When I do this, I play with the attack and release a lot, and then play with these settings as well, because it can kind of shape it differently. After that, another EQ, just doing more, just little dips of frequencies I don't like, and then the auto gain.
On what I did, little bitch that she hungry. Come on, eat these kids. On to the tag. I'ma buy it if I like it. Dig a bitch down. Move your hands, bitch. Don't fight.
After that, I have this SSL, and this really isn't doing anything except adding a little bit of high end.
On what I did, little bitch that she hungry. Come on, eat these kids.
And then this Fresh Air plugin, this is doing like a lot of work. This is like this plugin either sounds like complete shit or it sounds great on a vocal. In this case, I thought it sounded pretty cool.
On what I did, little bitch said she hungry, well, come on, eat these kids. On to the tag, I'ma buy it if I like it. Dig a bitch down, move your hands, bitch, don't fight. Diamonds hitting hard, yeah, striking like they lightning. All my niggas get.
And then after that, another compressor. I have it set to bus, low ratio, medium attack, auto release again, and then auto gain off.
On what I did, little bitch said she hungry, well, come on, eat these kids. On to the tag, I'ma buy it if I like it. Dig a bitch down, move your hands, bitch.
After that, the de-esser.
On what I did, little bitch said she hungry, well, come on, eat these kids. On to the tag.
After that, I tend to use a limiter a lot at the end of a vocal just to catch like stray peaks and stuff like that.
On what I did, little bitch said she hungry, well, come on, eat these kids. On to the tag, I'ma buy it if I like it. Dig a bitch down, move your hands, bitch, don't fight. Diamonds hitting hard.
And then this last thing, I have a flanger automating at the end of the song, like the outro. And I think this is kind of Chike's idea, just to make the outro sound different from the rest of the song. So I do have it automating on right here.
Nigga, what? Nigga, what? What? Nigga, what? Ain't nobody screaming free me, RP me.
And then for the backgrounds, I'm doing just basic treatment. I'm taking more low end and low mids out of the background so they sit behind the lead vocal. Or in this case on the sides better. And then just adding a little bit of top end, some low passing, and then getting rid of some harshness right here. And then the gating and all that stuff's the same. And then for, let's see, for this outro vocal, I do have this Manny distortion on here.
Ain't nobody screaming free me, RP me.
With the flanger on it as well.
Ain't nobody screaming free me, RP me.
You know, just making it a little more unique. And then for the ad-libs, I'm kind of just doing the regular telephone vocal type thing.
Don't speak on what I did. Come on, eat these kids.
So I just have a de-esser doing some de-essing at different points. And then RVox for gating. Here's the telephone setting.
Don't speak on what I did. Come on, eat these kids.
And then some compression from the SSL channel and getting rid of more harshness I didn't like. After that, I do the early reflections type thing where this kind of pushes the ad-lib back behind the lead vocal so it doesn't sit in front, it sits behind it. So it's really just this early reflections thing.
Don't speak on what I did. These kids, on to the tag, I'ma buy it if I like it. Dig a bitch down, move your hands, bitch, don't fight. Diamonds hitting hard, yeah, striking like they lightning. All my niggas get money.
Yeah, and then it's basically the same on this other ad-lib track as well. After that, I'll show you the my aux sends. I usually have a lot more. For this song, for whatever reason, I didn't feel like I needed to use a lot. I just have a reverb, doubler, and parallel compression. For my reverb, it's pretty basic. I just have an EQ before the reverb to clean up the signal going in, feeding the reverb what I want it to have. Then I just have basically the stock setting on this Pro R, but I just took out more of the low end. And then another EQ after to clean it up more.
Big on what I did, little bitch said she hungry, well, come on, eat these kids. On to the tag.
After that, I have micro shift for the doubler. I think this is just the stock setting as well.
Big on what I did, little bitch said she hungry, well, come on, eat these kids. On to the tag, I'ma buy it.
Just add some depth and width, and then I have this parallel compression, the same distressor type thing, 20:1, link, distortion, medium attack, and then fast release just to help stuff like sit more forward.
Big on what I did, little bitch said she hungry, well, come on, eat these kids. On to the tag, I'ma buy it if I like it. Dig a bitch down, move your hands, bitch, don't fight.
But yeah, that's basically it for that. And then I did do a lot of fucking vocal throws and stuff in this song, so I'll go through kind of that. For the reverses, like, it starts with a reverse.
Yeah, I don't trust niggas, but as far as I can.
So I did a lot of that stuff, just throwing a doubler on it to get it wider, and then flanger to make it a little more unique, and just cleaning it up, making it kind of just a effect. And then for my delay throws, I tend to use H delay a lot. And when I kind of just do this where I feel like it works. I try to not to go overboard because some artists don't like delay throws and all that shit. So I try to just like tastefully use them. So I'm just emphasizing certain words and stuff. So I have a flanger. I have this tiled room, the reverb on the delay throw to make it like sit back behind everything a little more, make it unique. And then for my reverb throws, I'm using H-verb, just the stock setting. And then de-essing it before, just so to get rid of sibilance if there's an S in the throw, and then more EQ just to get rid of the low end muddiness and all that, so it doesn't get in the way of like the low end of the song. But yeah, that's basically it for the vocals. I do automate the reverb up at that ending part, but it's not, I wouldn't say it's straightforward, but yeah, that's basically that. Moving on to my mix bus. Pretty minimal mix bus. I'll play it before and after. There's gonna be a volume difference, but don't worry about it.
One nigga out, told Brody handle biz. If you ain't do it with me, don't speak on what I did. Little bitch that she hungry will come on, eat these kids. On to the tag, I'm about.
So yeah, it's very minimal. I did a little bit EQ, just getting rid of stuff that I didn't like in the low mids. I did add a little bit of 1K. I think if you have a song that you want to get louder, adding some mid-range, especially in a hip-hop song where it's all just top and bottom and you're taking out a lot of mids, that can help bring your song forwards. That's kind of what I'm doing there. Little bit of SSL compression. I have it set to 10 on the attack and 0.6 on the release, 4 to 1. Just barely tapping it. It's really just getting those kicks.
One nigga out, told Brody handle biz. If you ain't do it with me, don't speak on what I did. Little bitch that she hungry will come on, eat these kids. On to the tag, I'ma buy it if I.
After that, I go into this de-esser. I like to de-ess my masters. Kind of helps with the sibilance of the vocal more, and also with the hi-hats, and kind of gels it together. It's also barely doing anything. It's like 30% on the wet.
One nigga out, told Brody handle biz. If you ain't do it with me, don't speak on what I did. Little bitch that she hungry will come on, eat these kids. On to the tag.
That's also only de-essing the center, the mid. After that, I go this AMAC EQ, just adding some top end 3 dB, just for some sparkle.
One nigga out, told Brody handle biz. If you ain't do it with me, don't speak on what I did. Little bitch that she hungry will come on, eat these kids.
After that, I have this exciter on the triode mode, just saturating the top end a bit.
One nigga out, told Brody handle biz. If you ain't do it with me, don't speak on what I did. Little bitch that she hungry will come on, eat these kids.
After that, I go into a clipper, just barely doing anything.
She gon' leave on a crutch, feel like a surgeon. I been playing in her gut, niggas behind and running until they run out of luck, nigga. What?
Just doing some peak control, and then I go into this L3. I originally used God Particle on the song, but I do not have this plugin anymore, so I just switched it to this. I tend to use this one a lot more now. I use this as a good like pre-limiter to control what feeds into my limiter, so I find the low end of a song triggers your limiter a lot more, and this can help like flatline that a bit more so you can get stuff louder with your main limiter. So I have the priority set here, and then it's not adding any gain, it's basically a clipper, but it's limiting.
She gon' leave on a crutch, feel like a surgeon. I been playing in her gut, niggas behind and running until they run out of luck, nigga. What?
And then after that, I go into Fab Filter. This tends to be my settings a lot of the time, either dynamic or modern. And then I have the slow attack, and then I kind of play with the release, but it's usually in this general area. A little oversampling, and my ceiling is set to 0.12.
She gon' leave on a crutch, feel like a surgeon. I been playing in her gut, niggas behind and running until they run out of luck, nigga. What? The kind of meanest, this ain't Resident Evil. Niggas playing like they demons.
Yeah, so I added 8 dB with this 808 or kick type thing. If I make it too loud, it kind of just it doesn't sound good. You kind of lose low end at a certain point. So I had to kind of find a middle ground that worked with this song, where I could still get it loud but not lose like the punch of a low end. But yeah, that's basically it. If you have any questions about this song or things I missed or you're curious about, please feel free to leave a comment or question. Like I said, I'm not telling you this is how you should mix or anything like that, but you know, maybe there's useful stuff in here if you're just learning how to do stuff. And of course, if you want your stuff to be mixed by me, reach out to me on Instagram at extendo.mp3, and or any questions or anything. I'm always here to help. But yeah, so thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
I'm already knowing, nigga, what, come on, what, nigga, what, come on, let me talk my shit.